Our next number is designed to drown out the sound of shovels.
Eminem is coming to Shade 45 to close out 2020.
What's up, hoes? It's Eminem, and unfortunately, I'm taking you through every fucking trash song on my Music to Be Murdered By Side B Deluxe Trash Edition. They come at me with machine guns, like trying to fight up a net.
Let's get into this celebration starting right now.
What up, people? It's Gray Rizzy. We out here right now, Shade 45, and we got a special for you right now. Look, we closing out the year real big, and I don't know how I get a bigger guest than this right here. The boss is in the building. Eminem, what's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You know, especially that we...
You know, like when you do it in the studio and like people are clapping and shit, like...
Hey, there's this claps going on all over the place right now, man. But you know what? I want to clap for you because you were able to give us some more music, man. Music to Be Murdered By. Side B is here now, the deluxe. I guess the first thing that I would start with is what made you decide to drop a deluxe on us?
You know, been recording music. So like the whole quarantine thing and all that, like I write all the time anyways, and I'm a lab rat, so I'm in the studio all the time. But there was really nothing for me to do but write. So, you know, I just started recording songs, and I was like, I had the idea to do a B-side, as I think like the first 2-3 songs that I had recorded kind of started seeming like they were heading towards that way. So I just kind of based everything around it again and put it together conceptually.
I need to wrap my head around this because I didn't realize this until I actually read it, that this was like your third surprise release in about 2 years. You know, like obviously the music industry is changing, but what made you decide just to drop it on people? The only reason why I even knew maybe a few days ahead was because I started seeing the Alfred Hitchcock pictures all over social.
I mean, for me, I feel like, you know, I don't know this to be true, but I feel like when I talk about an album that's coming out, like if I give people, you know, notice and they start seeing the track list or they know it's coming, I feel like my best shot at avoiding some of that is to just drop it instead of, you know, people thinking to themselves like, well, you know, well, if he don't have a song about this, that I ain't fucking with it. If he's got a song with this person, I ain't fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it kind of gives everybody too much time to think about it and their expectations of what they think it should be. And I'll never meet that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the theory that I based it off of ever since, I think Revival.
Just put it out there. Was it like, I guess the time wise, how long did it take to put it together? And was it a long process to get to these 13 songs and 3 skits, 16 in total?
It didn't take, like a lot of times I think that when there's space between albums for me, it's usually because I'm doing something. I might be doing features for this person or that person, or working with one of our artists on Shady. You know what I'm saying? But these past couple of years, I want to try to give every single thing that I have to this shit. That's been my main focus, I think, probably since Revival, is to just keep cooking, because a lot of times some of these songs would have been used for, if we had a greatest hits album or something, you know, to put it on or some shit like that. And there's 2 songs on that. Like we did the Shady 15 thing. I had a couple of songs on that. Instead of doing side projects like that, I kind of just focused on my own solo albums.
So look, we start off the project with Black Magic with Skylar Grey. Obviously, you two guys, I should say you gentlemen and that gentlewoman over there, you guys have worked together over the years and always deliver great projects. She's not a gentlewoman. No. Is she not gentle? Like, she's harsh?
Yeah, she's really fucking mean to me. So let me say this, and I know I tell her this all the time, but she's like, I've had the privilege of working around a lot of fucking talent. You know, it still gets me, like, it's still crazy to me sometimes when I'm working with Dre and I'm looking at Dre like, you're fucking Dr. Dre. But Skylar is one of the, she has to be, I don't know how to say this, top 5 of the most talented people I've ever worked with, but I've worked with so many talented people. But the rate of speed that she works at, A, being able to write it, and B, being able to sing it, and to sing it that powerful, like she's an amazing talent. She wears a lot of different hats. She's able to approach songs from angles that I didn't see coming, and also hit notes that I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't expect it to go there. And then it's like, it was weird to me. And then the second time I hear it, I love it. She's amazing, and her talent level is off the charts.
You know, after hearing you describe it like that, it's no wonder why you went ahead and kicked off the project with Skylar Grey on Black Magic.
The explanation is I was trying to give a reason of why you heard the female dying in the beginning of the last record. So it was to tie that in conceptually, but it's left to interpretation whether it's an actual female or it's the rhyme, and the rhyme is trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill the rhyme. And when I wake up, like it's all a dream. So it's the lines are blurred. You know, it's open to interpretation, but it ties in with the original skit in the beginning of side A. For right now.
I'm glad you did. I'm very glad you did. Shit, it's not just me, it's everybody is glad you did. And you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to get to the music right now. We have Black Magic with a collaborator who is family, Skylar Grey. We're going to get into that. We're going to be right back. We got Eminem with us, Shade 45. Hey, Eminem, let me ask you this question when it comes to the title, because you have Music to Be Murdered By, you know, side B. And a lot of times in hip hop, people know that really strong songs on the project are the B-sides, man. Did you intend for that with the title?
I was just trying to at least match the caliber of the last one. So for me, it's like once I felt like it started shaping up to be what it needed to be, at least for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but like when it felt like that, then it felt like it was time to put it out.
So Eminem, we got a lot of new talent that's on this right here, Music to Be Murdered By, side B. One of those people are Ty Dolla $ign, and I think a lot of fans are excited to see you two come together. But my question was, like, how did you two come together? What made you want to work with him?
Well, I've been a fan of his for a while now. I think, like, you know, he pops up on my YouTube feed a lot because I'm always looking at what's new, what's out, and shit like that. So a lot of times his videos will pop up. And the one that really caught my ear that was like sealed it for me was the All Mine joint that he did with Kanye, where he's singing the falsetto shit. It was so crazy, and I was like, yo, I gotta have but I had to have the right song first before I approached him with it. Yeah, man, he's nuts. The fucking harmonies he does and shit, like he's out of his mind.
Well, I'm glad that you two work together. We're going to get to a song with him in a little bit, but I think I was reading somewhere where the playful Eminem is back, and it's on Alfred's theme. And it's just like this, I don't even know how to put it. Like, even when you're rhyming and you stop and you know, you're talking and you just kind of wash your hands, the birthday song and all that stuff, very of today, everything that everybody's going through. Shit, I'm taking 30 seconds to wash my hands with the happy birthday song. Yeah. Is this like the, I don't want to say your comfort zone, but I think this is the, you know, fans love Eminem overall, but this Alfred's theme song is just something about it that makes everybody smile.
Well, I want to say this. It was Paul's idea to flip that beat. So Paul was like, yo, what if you took the Alfred theme and made a beat out of it? I did. And originally, that was actually the first song recorded for the B-side. Originally, we had talked about maybe just throwing it out there. But then once I started like getting, you know, honing in on where I wanted to go, the direction and shit, it started just kind of becoming its own album. You know, it also tied in with the first one so well.
I'm glad you flipped it. I'm glad you listened to Paul, and we're going to have all the listeners listen right now. It's Alfred's theme. Eminem is in the building. Music to Be Murdered By, side B. I want to get into this song, Tone Deaf, because there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in 2020, and again, you touch on so many points. D-Nice to the rescue. You're talking about just cancel culture. There's so much that is in this project. But when we're talking about Tone Deaf, let's just talk about D-Nice for a second. You said that you watch stuff on YouTube. I know that you tapped in. Have you been watching what's been going on Instagram and seeing how much he kind of saved the summer?
Yeah, man, but I've been a big fan of D-Nice, man. I was a fan from I was really locked in on his verse from Self-Destruction as a kid, and his first two albums, the D-Nice to the Rescue, that one, the second album, I know that album by heart, front to back. Like he had the Crazy Tretch feature on there and shit. Is he still rapping? Like, I don't know if he's still.
Nah, he's totally into DJing now. Like, call me D-Nice, he might play.
I'm telling you, I guarantee you, if he jumped back in it, he could do it, and he could do it really fucking well. Because one of the best things to me about D-Nice was not only his pockets, but his delivery. The way he said the shit, he had one of the, to me, top deliveries of all time. His voice was like one of the things that got me the first time I heard him. It's like super commanding, like Chuck D or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
with D-Nice, switching from that, man, let's talk about cancel culture too. Like, could you? It's a big jump from when you first came into the game to say 2020 right now, and it seems like the littlest thing people are willing to jump out there and cancel you. But you cover this in this song. What made you put this in the song?
I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, with me, it's literally like every other day. You know, I'm canceled for whatever the fuck it was. And then it's like, it's funny because I see some of the same people or sites that bitched about things back then that I said, and then going back now and saying, why can't he be that again? What the fuck? When I was that, you had a problem with that too. I understand some of the shit, but for the most part, like, for people who just sit online and they feel like they need to bitch about whatever it is just to feel like they're a part of something, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, with cancel culture, it's like, no one ever really gets canceled though. So what, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people start saying cancel, okay, well, this rapper's still here, this rapper's still here, or this person in general, you know what I'm saying? It don't even have to be rap, but it's just, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like people need to fucking grow a pair.
Yeah, I think I like what you said, and I've said it all the time. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. You don't gotta listen. Yeah. But for all the listeners we have out there right now, this is what I have for you, man. Tone Deaf, Eminem. You need to turn this up. Music to be murdered by, side B. Is this the first time you've ever worked with DJ Premier? Because we got a song on here where he's doing the cuts, and you say yes. That shit is blowing my mind. You've never had the chance to work with Premier before on a beat, and this is just with cuts and stuff. How was it for this? I'm sure this is like a gift right now. Oh well, I've been wanting to do some shit with Premier, and that was one of those things. I just had the idea of what he could scratch, and just having him scratch on the record, like, that's so dope. Like, he gets a feature credit on there. You know what I'm saying? Because Premier is Premier. Like, there's a lot of DJs that might not get a featuring credit. You got Premier on your shit scratching, he's gonna get a fucking featuring credit. That's like one of the best parts about it. I want to make sure you know who I'm talking about at the end of the song. His impact on hip hop and everything from Gangstar to when we do those a lot of ciphers, Premier is usually there providing the beat. And I've always been cool with him ever since I met him. I've always in the back of my mind, like, man, I wish I had something to attach, because he's the fucking OG, man. Like, you can't get much better than Premier on the cuts, and he's a family member. You can listen to him right here on Shade 45 every Tuesday for Headquarters Radio at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. What was it like as soon as I saw the title of the song, Book of Rhymes, the first thing that popped in my head was that line from Nas's first album, and that's the cut right there. Was that your idea? Was it his idea? How did that happen? I told him the phrases that I wanted him to scratch, and then I just sent him the beat. And he did it. Like, I didn't tell him how I wanted to scratch. I just was like, I like these two phrases. You know, if you could cut these up. Man, he did that shit and sent it back like the next day. And I'm so grateful for that. You know, Premier's one of the pioneers of this shit, you know, and to think 30 some years later, like, he's still as relevant as ever. And the shit he's done with Royce too, you know, the Prime albums, like, says a lot. Is this a bucket list for you to be able to work with Premier? It is. That's definitely one of them. Well, look, I want to go ahead and say, having to sit down with you, my brother, is one of my bucket lists. So I thank you for the time. Let's go ahead and get over to this music, man. We got Book of Rhymes featuring DJ Premier. Eminem's in the building. We were talking about Ty Dolla $ign a little bit earlier, and the song, and you collaborating. The song is called Favorite Bitch, and you personify hip hop as a young lady. We've seen this before. Shout out to Common, with what's the song that he had? Used to Love Her. But in you putting this together, what made you say, I'm gonna name it Favorite Bitch, and I'm just gonna lay this out for the people so they understand how I feel about it? Well, actually, Sly Piper sent me the track. It had the hook on there with the concept, like,
favorite bitch. The way that's also him talking in the beginning. That's one of the, like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, I knew what direction to go because of what the chorus was saying. You know, and I super could relate to it because it's one of them love and hate things, you know? Like, my relationship with music is just, sometimes it's fun, sometimes there's parts of it that aren't fun. It's like when a chick is leaving you and you refuse to let her go.
And I know this is going to sound crazy because no man wants to share a woman, but you know, hip hop is so big now, we have to. Is that tough?
Nah, it's not tough at all. Like when I said the line, you know, truthfully, it was never really you and me exclusively, and there's too many new MCs you can choose between, because you know, hip hop is forever changing and it's forever evolving, and I'm always push for that next generation to come up and be great, which is happening. So, but nah, you know, hip hop was and is, I think it's the biggest genre of music now there is. Absolutely. Every era in hip hop to me has had its greats. Like when you go back with G-Rap and Kane and KRS-One, there's been Rakim, there's been so many greats in hip hop. The way it's forever evolving is it's a really cool thing to see. Well, it's really cool. Let's go ahead and get to this music because I know people want to hear, how did he describe it? Well, you go to hear it right now. His favorite bitch, Eminem, Music to Be Murdered By, Side B, Deluxe. I want to get over to this song, man. Guns Blazing with Dr. Dre. Sly Piper is on here as well. That was actually a record I stole from Dre because he was sending me music and he kept sending me shit. I just kept like, every time he sent me some shit, I'd be like, yo, this one's crazier than the last one. Like, I don't even know what's the craziest one. And then he sent me that one with the hook and his verse. And I was like, yo, I got to jump on this shit. I was like, yo, Dre, we actually traded a couple of times because I did a couple other songs and shit. And I'm like, yo, you could have the one I just sent you if I could have that one. And we kind of swapped a little bit. It's very personal. It's a very personal song. Here we go, people. Guns Blazing feature Dr. Dre, Sly Piper. Now, this song right here, there's a lot of questions that I have to this. I'm hearing the new production with DA got that dope. Obviously, he was on the original. He's on the deluxe as well. But how did you connect with Cole Bennett from Lyrical Lemonade to go ahead and put the video together for Nat? Cole Bennett did the last video we shot, Godzilla. You know, going through he's done something. Man, this kid's 23 years old and he's got so much under his belt already. One of the Juice WRLD videos, like you know, he's just the new go-to guy for, like, if you want your shit to be crazy. Like, the craziest part is usually I have a concept for most of my videos. If we're gonna shoot a video to it, I usually come up with the ideas. I don't think I think the only idea I had was to bite the head off the bat. Everything else, like, he just, you know, he's got a vision, man, that's crazy, because I remember shooting it going, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be all in with this one. And then when he sent it back, I was like, oh shit, this is like better than I thought it was gonna be. And how about the production too? Like with DA got this dope, because you're starting to work with new producers, new sounds and stuff. Is this something that's difficult for you to do, being that, you know, you might be set in your ways, or is this something that's refreshing for you? It's probably refreshing because early on in my career, most of my beats, anything that Dre didn't make, most of the other ones I made. It was just a different process back then. But yeah, that's my theory, is that I probably can be the best version of me if I just focus on the lyrics. Copy. This is one of my favorite songs off the project right here. We're gonna get into it, man. It's Nat, Eminem. Yo, what motivates you right now, Em? Because you have a song that's called Higher. And at the beginning of Higher, you say, been around for a while now, not sure how much I have left to prove. And then you pause for a second, you say, yeah, I do. So I'm curious, what is motivating you right now? Because every time you come out, it seems like you go higher, higher, higher. You say that in the song. As far as things like that motivate myself, like, it's just the same thing I've always tried to do, is like make this one better than the last one, you know? But I draw inspiration from all over the place, whether it be from new rappers coming up. I'm always checking for the next dude, the next female, whoever, you know what I'm saying, that I feel like is gonna let me hear that and send me back to the lab. And it's like, I don't feel good about myself until I can make something that I think could match the caliber of that, you know. So it's just, I think it's just motivation within myself. But aside from that, like, you know, I'm always checking for Cole's new shit, Kendrick, you know, Joyner. I know I've said that a lot. Young and May. I mean, and all of them have been actually around for a little while now. But the YB and Corday.
Music to be murdered by people. Side B, the deluxe edition. Yo, Em, this is crazy. Let me tell you something. I know people give you your flowers all the time. I mean, shit, I'm on your channel right now, Shade 45. But this is really dope to sit down and talk to you about a deluxe version of a song that you put out. I mean, an album that you put out basically in the same year. Have you ever done that before? Have you put out 2 albums at the same time? I don't think so.
I mean, back in the day, it was like, you know, when I first got on, from the Slim Shady LP to the Marshall Mathers, the Eminem show, one of the reasons, like, I didn't have a lot of side projects going on right there, aside from some of the D12 shit, but that was the, you know, that was the grind. It was like, I make this album, now I got to go out and tour to promote it. I'm on tour for 6 to 8 months, and I can't even get in the studio.
Talking about, like, you know, going back a little bit, you got the song These Demons, and you started off with I want the new but the old Shady. Is your process different? Like, you know, in writing this song right here for These Demons, was there, you know, is there a correlation between the two? You're one person, you feel what I'm saying? But do you approach it differently? You just said back in the day, like, you really didn't write on the road because shit was hard.
Well, a lot of times too on the road, like, I didn't even have beats. Like, I was making most of my own beats. So unless Dre sent me something, I didn't really have any beats. So that was one of the issues then too. But like, I think some of the things that I'm addressing on this album, you know, you mentioned like me having fun, sounding like I'm having fun with the Alfred's theme and tone deaf and shit like that. And I actually am, because honestly, that's the kind of shit that I would much rather do, have to be so serious all the time and talk about, you know, I wish there's issues in our country that I wish weren't happening. You know what I'm saying? So I could be more playful and shit all the time. But like, you know, on that song in particular, you know, you know, the first verse is talking about just, I think, what the average listener expects from me, and then juxtaposed to the others, like no matter which way I go, this person over here is gonna be not happy because I'm trying to please this person, you know, so on and so forth. So it's kind of like that. For me, it's like I've been around for a long time, so it's like, you know, oh, he's already talked about this, he's already talked about that. Okay, well, name any artist in the world, rap or anything, that fucking has been around for a long time and has talked about something before. You know, there's only so many subjects you can actually even fucking talk about. But for me, like on this record, I feel like I wanted to address some of the police brutality shit, you know, and, you know, I'm gonna always let you know where I stand with that. It's great for me when I can have fun with shit, but like I said, sometimes I gotta get serious and fucking talk about things that bother me, you know, whether and even if people do, oh, well, he's, you know, he's better when he's funny, he's better when he's playful, he's better when he's this, he's better when he's that, you know. Okay, but I need to talk about this shit.
I got this song right here, These Demons, featuring Maj. Now, how did you two connect for this song? Because Maj is fairly new, right?
Well, I found out about Maj through Paul. Kind of started going down the wormhole and checking this shit out like earlier this year. Always liked what he did, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when the subject came up of this hook, like I told Paul, I was like, yo, what about Maj? And he was like, we could get him, probably, you know, we have to call him or whatever. And I know that he signed the Def Jam. That's how I found out about it. He was signed to Def Jam, and Paul put me up on it. Called him and asked him to do it. He did. He turned it around. Like, I feel like I think that I think he's definitely about to pop though, because, and that's one of the things I told him on the phone, because like if you look at his videos now, he probably got, from the last time I saw, 200 some thousand, you know what I'm saying? So he's bubbling right now, and I think that he's definitely gonna pop. He's too good not to. So I was one of the first ones that was up on it. I know I wasn't literally one of the first ones, but I'm saying, like, you know, there's something that's dope about that to me, so that when I see them blow up, I get satisfaction knowing that, you know, I was on it early and I told you, yeah, man.
Dope. Smart move, Maj. Smart move. Music to be murdered by people. Side B, the deluxe edition. I'm not gonna call this halftime. I just want to know how you're gonna deal with this, man, because you have two brothers, Royce da 5'9" and Alchemist. They've been nominated for a Grammy. This is like seeing two of your brothers go for the championship. What's the feeling like? And B, I'm not going to ask you who you're rooting for because I know you want both of them to win. But what's the first thing you're going to say to the winner?
Give me it. Give me your Grammy. Nah, I don't know, man. I'm happy that they're both like it's great for me to be able to sit back and watch that because both those guys are so fucking talented. And it's like, you know, I've been saying that I wish that they would get more shine. And I think that this is definitely from my point of view, a step in the right direction as far as, you know, with the Grammys, it seems like they're at least trying to get it right. I'm happy for both of them. And regardless of either one of them, if they win, they're still Grammy nominated.
You have this song, She Loves Me. Now that we know that you love your brothers, and, you know, best of luck to both Royce da 5'9" and Alchemist on their projects and for that best rap album category. But you got She Loves Me. This is another relationship kind of song. And you know what, throughout your career, throughout your music and all your albums, there always seems to be relationship stuff that's in there, man. She loved me, but really she loves my knot, you know, the money that's there. You're not stupid about the whole situation. Why did you put something like this on the project?
Oh, I don't know. I just that was a song that Dre gave me the beat to, and it just one of those that hook I think popped in my mind first. And you know, it's just talking about a typical like meeting a chick backstage and them saying like, you know, it's you that I really care about, or you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. But yeah, that's one of those playful kind of relationships. I mean, at least I didn't kill her in the end. She didn't get murdered. So this is true. I feel like this is a good chance for cats that just have no idea what the hell is going on. This is an educational moment. This is a teacher moment for them. Yeah, right. Let's
get to it, man. It's Eminem with She Loves Me off Music to Be Murdered by Side B. The deluxe is out there right now. Go get that. You have another song that's produced by DA Got That Dope, which is Killer. We mentioned him a little bit earlier, and he was on the original version of Music to Be Murdered by. What is it like? I think people take this as an honor when they have the chance to work with you multiple times. But then being able to work with you on multiple projects that are, you know, so close together. What did he do? Like, what was the thing where you say, you know what, I want to bring him back to work on this part right here?
He's always sending me beats. And it's like he just, you know, I don't know how much better he could possibly get, because but it's like he just keeps getting better. You know, he's at the top of my list as far as producers right now, like absolutely at the top of my list. So yeah, he's always sending me shit. A lot of times it'll be like if I'm listening to a beat and I can't, sometimes it takes me a second to figure out which one I like the best to lock in on. So sometimes I'll write a verse to one and then write a verse to another beat and then start putting them together, knowing that I'm gonna do that from the beginning. Like, I think these 3 beats would sound crazy. For Nat, that's one of the reasons that the beats keep switching up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because I couldn't really figure out which one to lock into, so I locked into all 3 and then just put them together. But yeah, man, he's crazy, man. He's at the top of his game right now.
Maybe it's that Midwest connection, Detroit, Chicago. You know, like it just connecting the dots over there.
Possibly.
Possibly. Look, we got Eminem. We're gonna get to this song right here, Killer. It's Music to Be Murdered by Side B, the deluxe edition. Eminem's in the building. Keep it locked. This song that you have is creating a lot of talking. Zeus. The first part with you apologizing to Rihanna for a leaked verse that got out. You know, I thought it said a lot about you as a man, and you've been on the record about the friendship that you have with Rihanna, but this made it onto the project. Why the apology now? Well,
it was pretty recently that verse had leaked, and honest to God, I told Paul this when it first happened. I was like, first, I didn't know how somebody got it. Second of all, I have zero recollection of even remembering doing that verse. Like the rhyme schemes didn't even sound like familiar to me. So I was caught off guard too. I was like, what the fuck? I said that? And that was during early like stages of the Relapse record that I was working on. So, you know, it's 10 plus years old, but I'm not making excuses for it. I said it and I was wrong for saying that. It was fucking stupid. You know, a lot of times, especially with the Relapse record, when I first started learning how to rap again because of the drug situation that I went through and having to relearn a lot of things, that was one of those things that it was like, well, if it rhymes, say it. I think that being able to look back, I mean, that's not even an excuse, but I'm just saying, like, that there was a phase I was going through with that Relapse record. I don't know. It's one of those things. I think I just said it because it rhymed, and I'm sure looking back now, I should have thought better of it. You know, it was one of those things that, like I said, I don't even remember recording, but record a lot of songs. So it was like, it's tough sometimes to even, you'd be like, oh shit, I remember that, you know.
I know a lot of people are they're very happy and proud that they got to hear that part from you, you know, that apology on Zeus. There's also a reference where, not even a reference, where, you know, you're talking about or speaking to Snoop in the sense of, you know, you don't need to be dogged by him. And I didn't know exactly when or where. What did Snoop do that made you put this line in this song? Well,
a couple of months ago, you know, he was doing an interview with the Breakfast Club. Somehow my name got brought up, and he was saying things about, you know, I'm not in his top 10, and everything he said, by the way, was fine, like up to a point. You know, when he I've never said, like, him saying that I'm not in his top 10 because there's some rappers from the 90s that I can't fuck with. Him saying Dre made the best version of me, absolutely. Like, why would I have a problem with that? Like, would I be here without Dre? Fuck no, I wouldn't. The rappers he mentioned from the 90s, KRS-One, Big Eddie Kane, G-Rap, like, I've never said I could fuck with them. I never said that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all, like, everything was good until, like, you know, it was more like, I think it was more about the tone he was using that caught me off guard, because I'm like, yo, where is this coming from? I just saw you. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it threw me for a loop. Again, I probably could have got past the whole tone and everything, but it was the last statement when he said, as far as music I can live without, I can live without that shit. Now you're being disrespectful for, like, it just caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that. And people started hitting me up about it, like, oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I didn't know what to do about it at first, because it confused me, because I'm like, yo, bro, same team. We're on the same team. Like, what the fuck? And I have never in my career, my entire career, ever said a disrespectful word about Snoop Dogg. I mean, what the fuck? Like, his impact on hip hop, like, I can't front on that. But it's like, at what point does it start becoming like, okay, now you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. My top 10, top 5 ain't gonna be the same as his, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. So how could I be mad at that? I wasn't mad about the opinion. It was after that. It was that, you know, that the very last statement was like, oh, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Like, damn, dog. Like, really? But, you know, I said what I said. I addressed it. I felt like I said what I needed to say. And
I'm not saying to choose sides, but it definitely is. It's a song that's going to be talked about for a minute, man. This is Zeus, Music to Be Murdered By, Side B, the deluxe edition. Eminem's with us. Shade 45. You know, you mentioned a lot of different things in the project, man. St. Andrews Hall, the shelter. Do you miss being able to spar in those intimate kind of settings and those stages?
I do. It's kind of like an old life that I wish, you know, I could relive parts of. But that was definitely, like, you know, there's something special about that time period to me, of just being on the grind and the hopes of being discovered one day, and, you know, the grind that was the battle rap scene, and at St. Andrews Hall, the hip hop shop, Ebony Showcase, C-Note. There were so many places that I miss going to. A lot of times, like, I think about, like, you know, you get sentimental with shit. You start getting, like, nostalgic when you think of things like that. And going back to St. Andrews Hall, I don't know, it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, just made me miss it that much even more, because it was such a landmark for me and Detroit hip hop. Dilla, anybody who was anybody in Detroit was at the shelter. So, like, but yeah, I do. There's definitely parts of it I miss. It was one of those things. It was like wondering if it could happen, and how exciting it was to think of it being able to happen, you know, because we had a whole crew, like D12, like everybody, like we all had those kind of dreams, and it was always like one of us gets on, like, okay, there's 6 of us in the group. So if one of us gets on that, we have 6 times more chance, you know what I'm saying, to get a record deal. And back
somebody's
then,
going to kick in the door.
Yeah, and back then it wasn't like it is now where it's like, you know, you could fucking just record on your computer and send the shit out to the world. We had to get a fucking record deal. We didn't get a record deal. That was it. We were fucked. Yeah, man, but it was just a different time, an exciting time in my life.
On this song, Discombobulated, man, you have production by Dr. Dre. Was this, was this intended to be the last song on the project? Nah,
it wasn't when I recorded it. So I was like, there's a couple ones that I was going through and I was like, yo, let me sit with that one for a minute and see if I can keep the hook, but just write different thoughts to it. So that's kind of how that came about, was just writing new verses and just keeping that hook.
This is going to be super random, man, but you know, did you really have a pool in junior high?
I'm gonna tell you something. That's the meanest dog I've ever. And one time I was looking at him in the face, like just talking to him, and he fucking bit my nose.
Oh my god!
Lunged at me and bit my nose. Pookie, that little fucking dog, man.
I wanted to ask because I'm like, yo, he seems like a Rottweiler type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Me, I grew up in the South Bronx. I'm more of a pit bull type of guy. That's what I have right now. But when I heard the poodle, I was like, wow, this is definitely discombobulated.
I'm gonna tell you some funny shit because that is one of the reasons I wrote that line. That's one of the things that inspired me to write that line. Like when we lived on Dresden, we had somebody stick cut a kitten's head off and stuck it in our mailbox. So hence was the line when I said on I'm Back on the Mathers LP. I used to get punk and bullied on my block till I cut a kitten's head off and stuck it in his fucking mailbox or so, whatever. It said something like that. And that was one of the things that inspired that thought, was like a lot of that shit is like true shit and I just flip it. You know what I'm saying?
But hopefully somebody will go ahead and stick Music to Be Murdered By side B, and you know, you go ahead and got it as a gift.
And they're in their mailbox. Go get it. Put the Music to Be Murdered By in your mailbox.
Right now.
You know what I mean by mailbox. If you don't know what I mean by mailbox, you probably should turn this interview off.
Well, I'm gonna let them go ahead and go enjoy the music, and also say Happy New Year to them and Happy New Year to you, Eminem. I appreciate the time and you coming up here to be with us on Shade 45, brother.
Thank you, man. Happy New Year.
That was Eminem taking you on a trip through his new album, Music to Be Murdered By, Side B Deluxe Edition.